Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Cosmo Muse Tarot and this week's mystery message. And we are going to be tapping into the animal realm to get a mystery message from a power animal for you guys. So we have 3 piles to choose from. Pile 1 is sort of a white agate of sorts. Pile 2, we have a clear crystal quartz. And pile 3, we have howlite. If you feel called to more than one pile, that is totally fine. These mystery messages are mysteries, so it's definitely possible that the animal realm could help tap you into more than one mystery, but just kind of feel into, maybe you're just feeling drawn to one and that's great. Maybe you're feeling drawn to more, that's great too. Maybe none and you could come back in a week or two. Whatever is connecting for you. Timestamps are in the description, so when you're ready, I will see you in your piles. Hello, pile 1, my agate pile. I'm going to put your stone right up here in the corner. And we are going to draw from 2 different animal decks. The first one is going to be tapping into more of that power animal from within that wants to bring some kind of unearth some kind of mystery message for you. And then the second animal deck has is kind of, the way I see this is like you could pull like a cat, but sometimes cats are in a mode of being sleepy, sometimes they're mischievous, sometimes they're affectionate. So that second animal deck I'm going to be using to kind of feel into the mode that this power animal's coming from, and then that deck also has kind of like a message associated with it too. So let's get the animals and then we'll do a little bit more after that as well. So the power animal coming from sort of your depths, we've got turtle. Beautiful. Oh, there's 2 here. Let's just take the top one. I don't want to get too confusing since we are picking another animal too. So the turtle is very much so connected to the feminine energy. There are 13 tiles on the shell of the turtle, which represents the 13 moons of the year, and the moon being kind of the feminine, kind of archetypal cosmic body. And the turtles they're kind of like an ancient animal and they can live a long time. They carry their home on their back. They're fine with going about doing things slow, but in like a very caring, thoughtful way. So something about your power is coming through the turtle. This, whatever message is being unearthed is coming through that kind of very nourished, at home in yourself, hence willing to kind of go slow and tend to what you need and sort of have like the long view of life, and coming from a very nourished place. So let's see what kind of mode our turtle is in with another animal card and what is being said by these animals. Let's see, we've got the crane, which says, surrender, let go of limiting beliefs. Be as expansive in your thoughts as your soul is. I love that. So like surrender feels easy coming from the turtle. It's already this water animal that's just kind of like, I don't know, I think of like especially slower ocean creatures as being somewhat, you know, that the water energy is more of that surrendered energy. You just go with the flow, you kind of float. And then we have the turtle, which is kind of slow. So I just feel like the turtle having caught a current and just allowing it to move it is kind of what's coming through here. And just sort of believing, I think what I'm feeling, let's see how it feels when I say it. It is sort of like by just surrendering into some current that's already picking you up, it's like you are naturally being taken somewhere that you wouldn't have imagined for yourself. Hence, tapping into that limiting beliefs and being able to be more expansive with your thought and soul. It's like when you feel a certain current and you're able to surrender into it, it can sort of just take you places you never would have imagined for yourself, but you're just sort of trusting that the universe or this flow of something is taking you somewhere. So that's sort of the, you know, the main theme of the message coming through here is just like sort of allow yourself to let go into some kind of current that is picking you up. Don't try to swim out of it or avoid currents or feel fear if something's sort of picking you up and moving your life in a direction that you don't really know where it's taking you. There's something about like trusting it as long as that current feels natural, that current feels like fluid and flowing rather than, you know, there's a difference between like a riptide, which is a little bit violent, and just like a current. And so something that feels not tumultuous, that doesn't feel like it picks you up and it's immediately kind of like volatile energy. It feels more calm. It feels more at a constant pace that's not, you know, violent or scary or overwhelming. It's just sort of this gentle, natural flow. Just kind of ease into it, right? There's something that, yeah, like a power source within you is saying like, relax into life right now. I think that might be it. It's like, relax into life right now. Don't try to control where you're swimming. Don't try to get too into your mind about like where you're going in life, because if you were to relax and just kind of like let go, you might see that life is actually sort of has the reins right now and is sort of taking you somewhere interesting that you might be missing if you're kind of trying to control your direction. So I feel, yeah. And then we have love coming through. And I love that. Let's hold it up a little closer. Yeah, it's interesting with the hands. It's like the hands are kind of showcasing this heart that almost has like a whole landscape and a fire coming out of it. I mean, it's a very, very simple thing that's coming up. It's just like trust, because you're going to love where you are being taken. Like surrender your control right now. Surrender to where surrender enough to even notice that some kind of current is trying to pick you up. And then surrender into that. As long as it doesn't feel like volatile, as long as it feels kind of constant and gentle, just like ease into that, relax into it, and trust it, because you're gonna love where it's taking you. That's what I feel like. These hands are showcasing something. Like, look at where this is taking you. You're gonna love it. It's gonna light your heart with that fire coming out of the heart and this whole landscape kind of designed into the heart. It's like you're gonna love the energy this brings you and what you see. Yeah. Yeah, very interesting. Okay, let's do some animal tarot as well to get a little bit more about this. Push these up a little. Okay. So we've got 10 of Cups. Talk about love and flow. 10 of Cups is all about, it's very connected to Pisces energy, and which is a water sign and is a sign of kind of like surrender and trusting kind of the spiritual side of life. And then the 10 of Cups more specifically has a lot to do with like feeling a sense of harmony and flow in the whole orchestration of life. You know, there's so many layers to our lives, and sometimes when we're able to just kind of center ourselves and observe all of those layers and how much is around us and going on, things tend to just, from that calm, still place, kind of drop into place instead of you feeling like ping-ponged around by all of the intricacies and complexities and chaos of life. When you're able to sit and be and create some spaciousness to observe, as like things kind of sink in where they're supposed to be, and you find that flow state, and you're able to just kind of like orchestrate life, right? And you feel this orchestration also simultaneously happening at the same time as you're orchestrating. So it is just like a, you know, extra confirmation of like, just sink into the flow coming in, because it's going to also not just take you somewhere you love, but I think it's also going to sort of tap you into your own flow state. Okay, and then we've got 9 of Pentacles. Really beautiful. It's interesting. So like in the 10 of Cups, we have all sorts of animals here, and that just taps into what I was saying about like there's so many layers and complexities and avenues and categories of life, and there are those special moments where everything just seems to be in harmony and flowing and things getting along. And so that's what we're kind of seeing in this 10 of Cups with so many different animals here. In this 9 of Pentacles, we have a bear kind of in hibernation. Normally I, you know, and then we also have like fish in the background, but I feel like it's almost dreaming of the fish. It's sort of interesting. I wouldn't normally put 9 of Pentacles as some kind of like lovely hibernation, but in this card it's kind of coming across as such. Normally I would say 9 of Pentacles is sort of like this ease with life, like you know your value, you know what you're good at and what you're doing, and feel some purpose. Like there's this like really luxurious feel of fulfillment and self-sufficiency, and this ability to kind of work smarter versus harder. And this like bear hibernation almost takes it a step further, where it's like life will just, yeah, what this is saying with the whole orchestration too is like, I think there are things already flowing in your life of value, and if you can kind of tap into this current and find that flow that helps you tap into your own flow state, you'll be able to take these things that you already have sort of like skill and find pleasure in doing, and finding a way to like make them just function on their own, just kind of like work without you having to really monitor, and it just allowing your life to be super easy. Yeah, that's very fascinating, but definitely something coming through about like value and making work and lifestyle like pleasurable and easy and flowing without that much effort from you. And then we've got Queen of Cups, which is giving you time to really feel nourished and value self-care, value taking care of yourself and your life and your home and your family and your heart. allowing yourself to tap into your sensitivity with a sense of command and elegance, and really just nourish the deepest parts of yourself. It's interesting in this deck, the King of Cups is this whale that is like breaching and coming out of the ocean. And with the Queen of Cups, I'm just barely noticing this. It's funny, I've never really put that together. With the Queen of Cups, it's going back down under. So again, hinting to this almost like dream space, right? Or just having the space to go within, to tend to inner life. But not with this Nine of Pentacles, but in a way that's like not sacrificing your external life, not sacrificing productivity, but the productivity is kind of like taking care of itself, and it's just allowing you not to escape from life or not to be lazy, but to know that you have the space to go within and explore your inner realms and dream time and inner worlds, because your external life is so taken care of somehow. But you're having to trust some kind of external flow though that's helping you get to this state. I mean, I think it's like initially tapping into and surrendering into some kind of current, but I think it turns on kind of a flow state within you, and in conjunction, an orchestration then takes place that allows for this like ease of living and space to kind of tend to your inner self and inner life. Okay, last tarot. The Hanged Man in reverse, which is Hanged Man in reverse is kind of paradoxical to me. We have some kind of like in upright, it's like a possum hanging. Is that how they sleep? I can't remember. A lot of times I will read the Hanged Man as like you've come to a point where you really have to drop back into your heart to rid your mind, to get out of like some rigid patterns in your mind and allow your heart to open you to different perceptions, different way of reading things, and allowing your heart to kind of take over a little bit more for your head. But there's something that's needing to get right that's gotten too rigid. And so when it's in reverse, it's like you've found that thing. So, that's interesting. I do feel like this current that this power animal is asking you to surrender into is taking you beyond some limitations that had gotten rigid for you, and will take you well out of that, where you then see things in a much more expansive place. But I feel like that flow state it's going to bring you to is going to help you move from being in the Hanged Man to moving out of the Hanged Man like at hyper speed. And so it's like the Hanged Man in reverse is like coming out of the, having expanded your perceptions and broken out of brittle patterns. And so all the more reason this power animal coming through, like there's something you're needing to surrender to, because this current is taking you past something that's become brittle in your life. And it will just, like, as soon as you surrender, like everything's gonna just happen. So there's a lot of trust being asked for here. A lot of trust in the current picking you up, and a lot of trust that it's going to lead you to a flow state, and a lot of trust that that marriage is leading to some kind of orchestration of making life productive and easy enough that you have a lot of space to tend to your private and inner life. And it's just going to really turn around your beliefs about ease in life. That's what I think Hanged Man in reverse is like. It's really going to quickly take away limitations you've been feeling, likely for quite some time, about life being easy. Right, okay, so to end, let's get you a crystal, daily crystal message, or daily crystal inspiration oracle card. And we've got black kyanite, set strong boundaries. Interesting. Which is sort of paradoxical with all this stuff coming into like surrender and let the flow take you. Maybe some of the limitations and brittleness you're breaking out of and better starting to see and work with and bring some orchestration to is like where you've lacked boundaries, where you've let some weak boundaries negatively impact your life. That's created more chaos in life happening to you than is necessary. So now that like you see past some limitations around the way you've used boundaries and are able to kind of like put some boundaries in place with the orchestration coming in, that's exactly the thing that gives you spaciousness to have a more easily productive life, giving you space to do inner work and private life work. Yeah, interesting. That felt paradoxical for a minute, but I definitely get where that's going. So yeah. All right, this is your mystery message from a power animal. So hopefully that turtle really connected for you. If so, I always appreciate support with likes, shares, and subscribes. Always grateful for kind and thoughtful comments, and just thank you for taking the time to come here and get a reading and letting me do some cards for you. So good luck with some surrender and flow and all sorts of beautiful stuff coming. All right, see you guys in future readings. Hello, Pile 2. Welcome to your mystery message from a power animal. You guys picked the clear crystal quartz, which I'm just going to put up in the corner to the side for you guys. And we will start. I've got 2 different decks with animals that we are going to start with. The first deck is tapping into the power animal that is wanting to unearth the message for you, a mystery message for you. And then the second animal deck is kind of, we're sort of layering it here. So I'll use the same example I gave Pile 1. So like say we ended up with a cat for your first, or for like the power animal. But cats have lots of modes. Sometimes they're, sleeping cat, sometimes they're mischief cat, sometimes they're cuddly cat. So it's, the second animal is kind of helping us tap into the mode this animal's coming from. And that second animal deck also has a message associated with it. So we'll start with those, and then we'll do a little more oracle and some tarot to go along with it. So let's get your main power animal that is unearthing kind of like a mystery message for you. Let's see, I'm filling that bottom card. Panther, interesting. So the Panther is all about like going into our shadows, having the courage and fierceness to face what's in our dark, and being able to see where there are certain things about ourselves that we have rejected or have found unable to accept about ourselves and integrate. So it's like, there are like the 3 main things of the shadow. It's like either we've rejected it, we've been unable to accept it, or we literally just haven't seen it. we've been blind to it or something. But the panther as a power animal is that thing that is giving you the courage to go into the dark and to witness this, to witness the thing about you, an aspect of self, a shadow aspect of self that's ready to be integrated, to be seen. And like a shadow aspect of self doesn't always have to be negative. Maybe there is a very strong, victorious part of yourself, but at some point something happened, like in childhood, and you rejected yourself as being someone that could be a winner or victorious. And so, you know, it doesn't have to be a negative quality, right? I mean, it can be, but sometimes it's something like that where we've rejected ourselves as the part of ourselves that knows how to hold victorious energy. Not saying that is what it is for you. Let's tap into our second deck to see if there's any more that wants to come through about this kind of shadow work that your power animal is bringing up, wanting to help you with. Whoa, that's interesting. If you felt called to pile one, I would go check it out. So we've got sea turtle with conservation, make conscious choices. So part of what the panther may be wanting to help you to see, wanting to give you the courage to witness in yourself, is potentially a part of yourself that is spinning wheels, right? That is like caught in a rat race is what it feels like. Caught in this mode of like, we'll just say there's so many jobs these days that connect to content creation. Let's just say there's something you do in your work life that revolves around creating some kind of content, whether that's social media or YouTube videos or copywriting, or there's a gazillion things, but it's like these days it's like so much about like content, and we're just like pumping out content. And you may sort of subscribe to fast content, right? This is just one example where it's like, the more I put out there, the more I drive like an algorithm, or the more I add to my resume, or the more I this or that. But it never gives you time to be thoughtful about it and to actually create something that feels authentically you, and that feels made with like care and thoughtfulness and patience, and really molded and made really beautiful. It's just sort of like, and this is just one example or one metaphor, however this might relate to you in whatever way. This is just one way of explaining the energy I'm feeling here. I feel like this energy is coming through to say, like, when did you reject a part of you that liked to be more methodical and a little bit more patient and a little bit more, I use this word cautiously, and so I want to talk about it a little bit, perfectionistic. And I don't mean in terms of like exacting, where you do something, refine and endlessly, and it's never like, nothing's ever going to be perfect, but just like a little bit more perfection in terms of like sitting on something for a day so that you can come back to it and edit it with fresh eyes, and then sitting on it for another day and redoing that, like having some process with editing to give it some time to marinate, give it some time to have you come at it with fresh eyes a few times. There may be, and it would be easy for me to make an assumption, and this may not be right for you, but like what easily comes to mind is we are in this modern time, like everything is happening constantly and we need 24/7 stimulation and media and this and that. And so it could be easy to have had some sort of subliminal messaging really root into you that like that part of you that's slow and patient and methodical is not valuable in this current society, right? It's not, maybe that part of you literally wasn't valued by a workplace and people complained about how slow you were and how lazy or unproductive you seemed when really you were trying to do something more thoughtful. And so like it kind of got trained into you that like, okay, we turn things over really, really quickly, right? And so this Panther, I think, wants you to go into yourself and like reclaim that part of you that's a little bit more methodical and a little more patient and a little more thoughtful about something. This doesn't have to be overall about you, about at least some category of your life. It could be about how you're dealing with home and family. It could literally have to do with your job, like the examples I've given. It could have to do with how you cultivate relationships in your life or romance in your life. Like, what is the thing that you kind of disowned in terms of being more thoughtful and methodical and slow? Where did that get rejected by you at some point because of likely some societal feedback, right? And this is saying that there's something that's needing to be reclaimed and revalued about that. Okay, let's get another oracle card. And that could feel like a hard thing to want to reclaim, right? If you're in like, say this does to you make sense in terms of like your job, and it's like, well, I literally have been told time and time again I'm like too slow and it doesn't matter, it's like quantity over quality. So like that's going to be a detriment to me if I go in and do some shadow work and revalue this and reintegrate it and reclaim it. Like that might hurt my job. Something about your power, this power animal coming up is saying like, maybe, but it's hurting your soul more. And maybe there's somewhere better you could take your talents that values that slow, methodical, So it's like, yeah, do with that as you will, but there's something from deep within that's really wanting you to go into some darkness and really witness something about, that more slow, thoughtful, nourished way of being and doing. And then we've got the outlaw. Yeah, literally like what I was saying, like it may feel like an act of rebellion to say, no, I am going to do life slow. I am going to take my talents somewhere where, that flow, that more methodical, patient, quality-driven side of myself somewhere where it is valued. Or maybe I'm going to start my own thing. Because, no job out there is really going to value it, but maybe there's a way I can do this on my own. And I'm, just giving an example of work again. That's sort of my through line example I've been giving, but it doesn't have to relate to work for you. But there is like some sort of sacred rebellion. It is breaking a system for you, or breaking out of some kind of system that you maybe feel like has you trapped. And so you have to kind of like channel that rebel to be like, yeah, I'm going to kick this to the curb. There's maybe a different way I can do this, a different place I can go, a different approach where reclaiming that part of me is seen and respected and valued, and, and it works, it's meant for, right, to, meant to be contributed in a certain place for exactly its strengths. Okay, let's do some tarot cards as well to see what else comes out. 5 of Pentacles. I think there's some fears for you around like yeah, and that's something the Panther really wants to help you examine, some scarcity fears. Okay, but if I, you know, go and reclaim this more slow, slow-paced, patient side of myself, you know, then I risk losing my job, and where is this worth anything? It's more this thing of like, where is that worth anything? I feel that question coming up, like, where is that going to be valued? I'm struggling to see where that is going to be valued. So let's get some more tarot to see. But that's part of, you know, part of the Panther is like going down and confronting our fears, and that might just be a fear you have to confront. Like, why do I even think that, like, that's not valued anywhere? Why do I not value this anymore? Why do I feel like, if I don't value this, of course I'm going to attach scarcity to it, right? But if I can find a way to see the value of it, I can kind of eliminate that scarcity association. So it's more about like really examining your own values there. And then we've got 7 of Wands. Yeah, I feel a lot of fear here. So like, it's already competitive. Something's already competitive. If I'm not constantly on, I get missed, right? Or you know, let's use a different metaphor. If I'm not constantly on socially, I get forgotten. I don't get invited to the big parties. I don't get invited to the big to-dos. Like, so many people are vying for it, and if I'm not out and social, and constantly mingling, then I lose my position, right? I lose my stronghold. So I just feel like that's another kind of fear you're going to have to confront in the shadow work. Where I think well, I don't know. It's sort of like your shadow work to do, so I don't want to project too much there. But there is something I think you'll have to witness around, like, feeling like you've got to defend your position somehow, your status somehow. And that might be affected by pulling out this like slower, more patient, nourished aspect of self. Yeah, there's attachments. This is a really strong attachment here. And a lot of fears that are just kind of your own, you know, we make up our own kind of narratives about things. Let's see. So this is like a jackrabbit with antlers. There's snakes down here. Yeah, I don't know. I have to sit on those animals for a minute. Strength in reverse. Yeah, especially with this card, like upright, you know, typically a snake would eat a mouse, but it's like they found some kind of mutual strength in each other. Like being able to temper instinct with a little bit of heart and thought, but like in reverse, it's sort of this feeling that like instinct always wins out. Survival of the fittest kind of primal energy sort of become the norm of your world in some category of life, whether it's work, romance, home, social atmosphere. But this Panther's coming up to say that like it's not, these are all stories and associations you've made that are your own to break. They're not real, they're not particularly have any value to hold these perceptions and fears. And I think the Panther is really just asking you to really tap into that sacred rebel. Like, how can you just like really rebel against some of these deep ingrained attachments and feelings that have kept that more slow, nourished sense of self down in the dark. Yeah. So it's just examining a lot of fears here that are your own. You made them up. I'm sure that there are experiences, valid experiences that helped you to make them up, but we can look for environments that support us. We can look for other people that share the same qualities. But I feel like it's like this power animal is asking you to maybe like move into a different mode of maturity in life, of like do I want to be stuck in this hamster wheel and this rat race? Like, what about this is just no longer working? And how has me putting away that more nourished, slow aspect of myself contributed to me getting caught in that rat race hamster wheel? And I think you going down and examining some of this is really going to give you some breakthroughs. I think you're each going to have very different kinds of breakthroughs, but I think it's like your work to be done. I've shown like maybe where some of these fears stem from or what they are, but like, yeah, it will be your journey to go down there. But the Panther is definitely indicating that like you're ready to. You have a certain fierceness, you have a certain bravery and courage and mystery coursing through you that's ready to really go in and examine these things. Okay, let's leave you with a crystal inspiration message. That one wants to come up. Pink opal, be kind to yourself. I love that. Yeah, be gentle with this. Yeah, it's, you know, the Panther is fierce and shadow work can, you know, be difficult and confronting certain attitudes and fears and whatnot. But we don't get through it any faster by being hard on ourselves and being judgmental and overly critiquing. So like, yeah, be kind to yourself, be gentle with this at the same time as being brave and fierce, right? Okay, I hope this resonated. I hope it was insightful. Very interesting mystery message from a power animal. If it did resonate, I always appreciate support, likes, shares, and subscribes. Always grateful for kind and thoughtful comments. Thank you for taking the time to be here, allowing me to draw cards for you, and I wish you all the luck and beauty with this mystery message journey. All right, see you guys. Hello, Pile 3. Welcome to your mystery message. You guys picked the Howlite stone, which we will put up in the corner for you guys to tap into if you ever want to. So this week's mystery message is coming from a power animal. Initially, I'm going to use 2 different animal decks. The first one is going to be pulling out the power animal that has a message for you, a mystery message it wants to unearth and bring to your attention. Oh, we already got it come out. And then I have a second animal deck, and that one is kind of like, I'm kind of layering these. The second animal is more about like tapping into the attitude of the power animal. So say we had picked a cat. I'm going to give the same example as the first 2 piles. Say we had picked a cat. You know, cats have different modes. They can be sleeping cat, they can be mischief cat, they can be cuddly cat. So where is this animal coming from? Like, what's its mode? And then that second deck also has a message associated with it. So your first animal, the power animal coming through that wants to unearth a mystery message, is elephant. An elephant is all about like really being able to power through like any obstacle in your way. The elephant can really stampede and trample and move out of its way, really clear the path forward. It's also, you know, the elephant is also a matriarchal kind of led animal. So there is a lot about like being very nurturing with its tribe, very caring about the other elephants it travels with. Yeah, just having like kind of a maternal mode in there, but this deep strength and this ability to overcome obstacles. So your mystery message has something to do with that. Let's get that second animal and see what else we can suss out from this. And then we've got field mouse with success. Believe in yourself and dare to dream big. Oh, interesting. Yes. So power animal coming through makes a lot of sense. How these 2 work together is like this animal really wants you to attach to it. It really wants you to believe in yourself and that you have the strength and that you have the support and you have a nourished enough sense of self that you can overcome any obstacles in your way, even if you feel very small in relation to the task you feel is ahead of you or the aspiration that's ahead of you. That big dream, you know, feels so much bigger than you. It feels like that field mouse under a huge starry sky. You know, that feels impossibly big, right? But the elephant is saying like, okay, you may feel like a field mouse, but actually you're an elephant. You have so much strength, you have so much fortitude, you have so much nourished support, both in terms of how you take care of yourself and the support system around you based on the way you have cared for others in your life. So like, get it together is what I want to say. That almost like came out at like I tried to stop myself from saying it, but it just like came out. So that's definitely a channeled message, like get it together. You're not a field mouse, you're an elephant, so dream big, right? That's a cool message. Okay, so let's get another oracle card. Oh, that one wants to fall out. The Sage. You have so much wisdom in terms of whatever you're being urged to dream big about. You have sage wisdom, and sage wisdom also means you have experiential wisdom. So dream big around something that you do have experience in, but just like take that to 100 times what you've done before, but trust that like maybe the microcosm that gave you the wisdom you do have being applied to the macrocosm is the same wisdom you need in both scenarios. It applies just as well in that microcosm where you gained the sage wisdom as it applies to this bigger dream. Like you gained the sage wisdom you need to be on a much bigger playing field. So trust it, trust yourself, trust that you're a force to be reckoned with. You're so much bigger than you are perceiving yourself to be, and you have exactly the wisdom you need to really carry you into this dream with insight, with preparedness, with wisdom comes up with wisdom, right? Like, you've got this, basically. Get it together. You've got this. The channeled message is like scolding you. That's funny. But I feel like, I don't know, once every 4 months or so, I get a scolding voice that comes out. It really kind of cracks me up when that happens. Because usually when it's coming out, it's coming from this place. I mean, what I sense is it's like that channeled scold is like coming from this place of like, almost like a spirit energy, like frustrated, like, can you not see that you're gonna be fine? Like, what aren't you seeing? You should see that you're fine here, right? Like, it doesn't take someone with with the perspective of this like spirit energy or spirit guides to see your capability. You should be able to see this, and so that's why I'm scolding. It's like, you know, right? So stop like putting yourself down or underestimating yourself or whatever it is. Okay, so let's do some tarot from an animal tarot deck. Ten of Wands. So yeah, I mean, whatever this is talking about, this big dream, yeah, it is going to require being like going through a pretty big journey, holding some weight, holding a lot of pressure on your shoulders and responsibility. So yeah, like, you're not underestimating the amount of work and the amount of a journey is going to be, but you are underestimating your capacity and capability to stand up to that with ease, with being able to walk through any obstacle, no problem, with the wisdom needed and the strength needed and the support needed. Like, you've got what you need to handle what is, yes, going to be quite a journey. Don't underestimate yourself. It's like you're making yes, it is going to be quite a journey. It is going to take you on quite a ride. It will require shouldering a lot of responsibility and work and whatnot. But in underestimating yourself, you also are amplifying, like projecting things into the journey that maybe aren't accurate, that are bigger than what they should be. It is a big journey, but like you're projecting maybe fears into it, like events that might happen into it that are just projections that actually may not happen in that journey and likely won't. And even if they were to come up, you've got it. You're the elephant. Okay. 6 of Cups in reverse. Yeah, there's a memory. There's some childhood patterning that maybe made you feel small, that's you still haven't gotten out of. And that's where this is coming from. So where in your childhood were you made to feel smaller than you actually have experienced that you are, that you've actually witnessed that you are. It's like, you know, you're an elephant, but you keep imagining yourself as a mouse. And it's like you kind of know you're doing that. And it's going to require you really going back and re-examining where that stemmed from and rewriting that story and seeing it from your adult perspective to be like, oh, wow, that, I mean, yeah, that's not accurate. And so I understand where that came from, but I can rewrite this now and I can go into that memory and be like, okay, relive this, go through that memory, but now pattern in my adult sage wisdom. And so that story gets perceived differently now and sort of eliminates that pattern of assuming you're a mouse where you're an elephant. Oh, we got our last two out at once. 3 of Wands, yeah, new opportunity, your ship's coming in. Don't sleep on whatever this big dream is. It will really be, like a positive adventure. Bright, beautiful, and 6 of Wands, winning. You'll be victorious. You just need to get over some kind of childhood patterning where you keep assuming. I do think it's important that you examine that before you actually plunge yourself into the dream, the big dream that this is talking about. Because you could choose to go on that dream seeing yourself as the mouse. But this is saying if you do a little bit of work, you'll realize that you're the elephant. You'll still do better than you imagined as the mouse, plunging yourself into this dream because you are an elephant. But if you can see you're an elephant and being able to rid yourself of always putting yourself as the mouse, you'll do that much better. You'll have that much more confidence and calmness and surety and groundedness in the whole thing, right? But either way, this is it does indicate something beautiful, a ship coming in, meaning this is your time, and victory coming in. Oh, look, this 6 of Cups. Oh my gosh, this even doubles down. This is elephants here. Elephants up here, elephants down here. Something happened in childhood with the 6 of Cups because that definitely references nostalgia and childhood stuff. So something, because it's the elephant, something got mixed up here around you thinking you're a mouse when you're actually an elephant. What got turned on its head there? How are you not seeing this? You know it, but you can't own it. You can't command it, right? So go back into some memories and find that moment or those patterns or whatever it was that flipped this for you. Yeah, none of the other animals in these cards are jumping out as super, super important, but this was a huge synchronicity. The one trouble spot that I was focusing on actually completely aligns with what I was already talking about with the power animal that wanted to talk. So yeah, yes. Do some deep work, even, reflect with a family member that you trust or a good friend or a childhood friend that might help you to see whatever pattern you identify or event that you identify or person that you identify that sort of brought this belief about yourself into being. Finding some help to reflect and work through that could be really positive. Of course, you can do that with, a counselor or a therapist, but I think in this case, someone who might be familiar with your childhood, some reminiscing, I don't know, for some reason that's coming through that could be important or very useful. keeping things with that familiarity, but seeing from someone else's lens around that time and pattern or person or event, you know, could help in a more powerful way rewrite that story than what you could do on your own and with a counselor or someone who wasn't familiar with that time in your life. They don't have to have been present for maybe an event that you would associate here, but just familiar with a time in your life where that started to kind of take shape. I don't know, something feels important about that. If that doesn't feel accessible to you, yeah, I mean, journaling, talking to a good friend that's willing to listen, because I feel like you need to take them through sort of your childhood. Someone really willing to be kind of patient and willing to let you kind of go through a lot with them, or definitely, yeah, like a therapist too. Okay, to end this, let's get you to leave things off on a crystal inspiration message. Pyrite, let the money flow in. So this big dream may have something to do with work or career or a financial endeavor, or receiving money even somehow, feeling your value, you know, connecting to knowing your value, your ability to receive, your ability to know what you're worth, ability to just understand how to attract money. Yeah, so I see that as even like a beautiful aspect of the journey you're about to set off on, is like, I think you're going to learn a lot about develop a lot about a positive relationship to money, like a healthy, positive, abundant relationship to money. So yeah, great. That's awesome. Okay, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. If this resonated, I always appreciate support, likes, shares, subscribe is the easy way to do that. Always grateful for kind and thoughtful comments as well. But in general, just thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me read for you. It's a lot of fun. So hopefully it was helpful and useful and insightful for you as well. And yeah, I hope to see you in future readings. See you guys.